So if we go back to our tracking plan, we have our data sources that we're looking to add here. Just to jog your memory, we are exploring for Coding is for Losers what is the best marketing channel. So we ran some YouTube ads, we ran some Facebook ads, and we're looking to see, okay, how do those perform versus just the organic traffic that makes up the bulk of Coding is for Losers visits. So basically what we're going to do here is go to the data feeds that we broke out in our tracking plan, and we can just do a simple, whenever this loads, and we can just do a simple filter, and we're going to filter on, you don't need to do this with a handful, but if you have a lot, you'll just look at all of your stitch integrations that aren't completed yet. So we're going to add Google Analytics, AdWords, and Facebook ads. And I'll cut these into separate videos so you don't have to watch all three if they aren't relevant for what you're doing. But there's some nuances to each data source that you might want to pay attention to. So first, let's set up Google Analytics. Let's go in here. It's more or less, we'll just call this GA, whatever. So basically, whatever so when we're looking at our data sources, we want to call our base table match up with whatever it is we called it in our data sources. So if you're managing multiple sites, though, you might want to say GA site, because you'll set up an individual GA integration for each site, which I don't love about Stitch, to be honest, but it's the way it is, because your columns might be different. Cool. So we're going to use, let's go back to like last fall. Let's start in August. You can go back, I think, as far as you want, although with GDPR that might have changed a little bit. And let's just say we'll replicate this every 24 hours. You can also set a time to anchor that from. So if you want to run every night at midnight, local, you can set that here, but not super important for us. Okay, cool. We're going to authorize this. Use Coding is for Losers. And then you go in and you select the profile that you want. And now for GA, this is very GA specific. So GA, you've got, hundreds of metrics or dimensions that you could choose from. That's why when you're setting up the data sources, we specified, which dimensions and metrics we want. Now, if you, one nuance that we have in our actual agency data pipelines is we have different conversion goals for each client, right? Each site will have different goals that you want to track. So that's something we manage as part of these like additional data points, the conversion goals here. But if you're just setting this up for one site, like we are right now, that's not necessary. But that's part of one of the long list of things that, if you're doing a pipeline for 50 sites versus one site, you have a lot of little nuances to manage in an organized way. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take all these columns and we're going to set them up here. So, and let's make source and medium separate columns just for fun. Okay, so our metrics, we're going to have sessions. It all starts with GA. Sessions, bounces, goal 1 completions, goal 2 completions. And then for dimensions, we're going to have landing page path, host name. I'm going to add host name here. So the nuance with GA, you have to merge your host name and landing page path to come up with a URL. Have source, medium, add content, and campaign. Okay, cool. Oh, and I can't forget date. Always want to be pulling date level data. So that's all for setting up this GA integration. You select your columns. Again, the nuance is you'll have to set up a separate GA integration for each site that you want to pull because those columns might be different. Anytime you set up a new integration, you'll want to go back to your data feeds and mark it as done. Let's see, or live, and name the account. So if you remember, and you should do this while you're setting this up. It's silly to do this after the fact. But if you remember, the account was called Codings for Losers All Website Data. And that's it. So now you can filter out. You don't need to see live data sources when you're doing setup. So we just have 2 left to go through.